Heading out early this morning to pick up a new car. What do you think it's going to be?
See if Goodguy is right for you.
All right, welcome back to Octane Eagle Garage. I'm here with Katrina and Austin. We're getting ready to finally get this thing on the road. We're going to stick a motor in it today. We got the hood off of it. We got it down on the ground. I'll show you a picture of the car since not all of you are familiar with the car. They're new. We've got, I'll show you here in a little bit, we've got a real nice motor. What do you say that thing made?
I want to say it made, what, 475 horsepower, 575 foot-pounds of torque.
Yeah, so even though this thing is the size of USS Enterprise, it should still move out fairly well.
And that's also on like 8.5 to 1 compression.
Yeah. So, you know, we can call BDS and we can put a blower on the top of it. And,
It's boost ready.
Yeah, right. And then we can take this to Cletus and Cars and put it in the burnout competition, right?
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah. I don't think the box is big enough for that. So, all right. I didn't film it, but we pushed it outside and cleaned it up. None of us could bring ourselves to ignore the dirt from sitting for 3 years. So it is not a show car, but it is tremendously better than it was. So, hey, welcome back to the Octane Eagle Garage. If you're just joining us from Austin's site to see the Mopar, Katrina's Mopar, welcome. We started to put the motor in the car in Austin's video and had a couple issues with missing parts and things along those lines. And at that point, we realized that the bushings holding the K-member in were, for all intents and purposes, blown out of it. He also has a whole pile of custom upgraded suspension. And I said, well, let's stop and let's just do the suspension before we put the motor in. It doesn't make a lot of sense to go backwards. And then after I got to talking to a couple of my friends with Mopars, apparently it's a pretty common way to put the motor in anyways. It's just to put it on the K-member and then raise it up in there. So that's what we're going to do. Today we're going to get the suspension out of it, the K-members out of it, and we're going to get it all cleaned up so we can start putting it back together. All right, we're going to go ahead and get the wheels off of it. I brought it down a little bit. We're going to get the wheels off of it and see what all we got to do. I've got some jack stands we're going to... when we get ready to drop the K-member, we're going to let the car down, put the jack stands all the way up, and let everything down onto the jack stands. The plan is to put the car all the way up, put the motor and transmission together on the K-member, and then let the car back down on it. All right, so we got the wheels off. Obviously, we're going to have to take the brake line loose. The lower control arm is on the frame rail, so we're going to have to take the ball joint or the control arm off. Eventually we have to take them both loose. I think probably going to take the ball joint loose so that it's mounted on the car and I can hit it and separate it easier. I think separating it off the car probably is going to be more difficult. So I'll separate the ball joint, get the sway bar. Actually I think the sway bar can stay on it. We will get the suspension or the steering loose. Actually, I'll probably just pull it off because I want to clean it up and paint it while it's off. So, all right, we got the steering linkage loose. We have the brake line off. It has a new brake hose on it, so it actually came loose just fine, and the line still spins. So I think those would be reusable just fine. Got the control arm off. It appears that on this Charger there is a access plate to take the control arm loose. I'm going to try to not take this off. Katrina and Austin have painted the engine bay, trying to make it look a little nicer. I don't want to disrupt that. It's pretty certain that if I take it loose, there's probably going to be some marks where it doesn't line up or something like that when we put it back together. So I'm going to try to take it off without taking that off. We'll see how this goes. All right, so that worked well actually. got a little bit of sand from where they had the engine bay sandblasted. Once I get this all out, I am going to spray it with some degreaser, clean it up a little bit, and then shoot it all with some black, maybe even some bed liner or undercoating of some sort. I'm putting this thing together, doing this work as if I was doing it on my own car. It's the reason I got out of doing. It was the reason I got out of my shop. One of the main reasons is I don't really know any other way to do it other than as best as I can, and that doesn't make for a profitable shop owner. So, but we're going to clean this all up. We're going to paint as much as we can and make it look as good as we can. So, next up, we're going to get the shock off of it. Okay, shock came loose, nice and easy. These 4 bolts apparently need to come off because they are bolted to the K member themselves. So we're going to blow those off. It's right the first time. A lot of build up. Judging by the the look of everything, it doesn't look like it's been taken apart at any time recently. But judging by the way that the bolts and things are coming apart, I would say this car has lived a pretty good life. My car, my Torino, is from the desert in California, and it comes apart much similar to this. So wherever this thing spent its life, it was taken care of, it seems. So that's great. Okay. I don't know if he has new shocks. I'll have to ask Austin about that. This is all attached to there, so we're going to leave that. This can go back above it so I don't tear it. Alright, that's all separate. I believe the rest of this can come loose separately and separate from the car. Yeah. Alright, so we got everything loose. I put a car up in the air to figure out what was left of what I needed to get loose. The steering link is just fine on this side. I will have to loosen it over there on that side, obviously. But I got to looking, and the transmission is hanging from the spring. So my thought process is on this, when we put this transmission and motor in this car, I want to put it together as one piece. We're going to set it on that K member and raise it up in here. There is a linkage and a mount and a drive shaft holding that transmission in, and it's loose. So I'm going to bring the transmission jack in here, and we're going to go ahead and just take the transmission out of the car. It'll be easier. We can clean it up a little bit, and then it won't be hanging from the torsion rods. And I think that's just going to be easier. So again, we'll go to some time lapse on that of me setting this up and working on getting this transmission out of the car. So. All right, we got all the transpooler lines and the kickdown cable. I believe that's kickdown cable, and the shift linkage for the shifter itself loose. We've got to take the drive shaft out and the rear tail mount, and then we can lower the transmission down out of the car. I've got about 20 minutes in taking the transmission out, and then I can mate it with the engine. We can clean the transmission because it's kind of greasy. We can clean the bottom of the car, and we can lift it all up as one. To me, it's a no-brainer on that one. So we'll go ahead and get the tail shaft and drive shaft out of it, and we'll get this thing down out of here. So get ready to take the drive shaft out of this. Like with any other older rear-wheel drive car, there's just straps here that bolt on. Now, I am going to say I don't know what the history is with this. I don't know what the transmission, what the deal with when they took the motor out of it. But I did just find the drive shaft was not tight. The bolts are at best finger tight. So it's a good thing we decided to do it this way, because I don't know that it would have gotten checked, and that would have been real bad. Over 400 cubic. I forget how many cubic inch Austin said that motor is, but over 400 cubic inch, a Big Block Mopar. I get that they're going to take it easy on the little rear end, but loose drive shaft bolts, we're not going to hold on very long at all. So good thing we decided to do this. Go ahead and finish getting these out. We'll get this drive shaft sitting out on the floor. I'll talk to Austin, see if it needs to be checked or anything, or how old these U-joints are. We might want to put some U-joints in it while we have it out. Okay, there's one. We'll flip it over and do the other side. Drive shaft straps are out. Pull this out. Get this drive shaft out. Oh, good. Not a lot as came out of the tail shaft. Front joint it's a little loose. It's not horrible. The rear one is at least feels like it's dry, and a little bit chunky. I'm gonna say we probably are gonna have to put some U-joints in this while it's out. I'm definitely one that when I build a car, I kind of do an overkill. If it's at all in doubt while I'm in here, I'm just gonna do it because personally, I don't know about Austin and Katrina, but personally, once I get them on the road, unless it's a real big problem, I'm gonna keep driving it. I don't like to bring them back in for little things. So I just want to do it once and be done with it. All right, cool. The transmission mount bracket was actually loose as well. Didn't have to have any tools to take it loose. So I'm guessing that they took the motor and training out as a separate piece at this point. Is what I'm thinking, and then they just hung it in the car finger tight. I wasn't aware of that. So anyways, the transmission's out, and all the stuff is hanging. I'm going to tie it up, and then we can get the torque rods out of this thing. Once I do that, then I can finish taking their K-member down out of the car. All right, so in the adventures of Ford guy figuring out how to take the front suspension loose, I think we have decided that I have to put some tension back on this lower control arm. So this one has come loose. This one slid out on the passenger side here, over here. But the driver's side one is wedged in there. So I just brought my stand over a little bit, put a little bit of tension upwards on it. Let's see if we can pop this out. Then it might also just be stuck. It's a little car. But the other side slid right out, so I'm going to try this. Nope, still not terribly happy. Hard to see where your tension is. There we go. Well, that side slid off one side, the other side slid off the other. Whatever, as long as it came loose. I think I have to get that one out of that side in order to get across the ground. Let's see how it goes. Oh, it's trying to move. Okay. Don't have enough hand. Here we go. All right. Crossover. Out. That one is out. Now this one is still wedged in there. We may have to do something else. Let's. I have to spray it. Worst case, we will take it out with the K member. So all of that's getting replaced anyways. So. Okay, so we've got everything loose. I put jack stands under it. That one's not actually touching. When I go to put it in the car with the motor and everything, obviously I'm going to set it up a lot more firm. I don't necessarily need the jack stands today. I could let it down a lot closer to the ground and just let it down. But I just wanted to test to see how this was going to work out. Obviously when I put it back in, I'm going to have to adjust the heights instead of just all the way up. But I'm going to let this thing down and take the 4 bolts out and then raise the car up off it. Little helpful note for those guys that are looking to get lifts. When you do stuff like this and you have the motor out of it and you're lifting that up off the suspension as well, and you're taking a bunch of weight out of it, go up about 1 inch, stop, and then check, make sure that you're not too tail heavy. I have seen guys drop them off the lifts doing that kind of stuff. So just a little helpful hint. All right, I'm going to go ahead and pull this thing up off of here, and I'll get back with you in just a second. All right, and there it is. I would have liked to have shown you lifting up off of there, but I'm going to be honest with you. I'm doing this by myself at the moment, and I wanted to concentrate and I wanted to be able to pay attention. So here it is on the floor. Now the fun part of finished disassembling it, cleaning up, painting it, and then the fun part of reassembling and putting the new parts on, nice shiny parts. Austin's got a pile of stuff laying over here that should be pretty nice to put on. Make it look pretty cool. All right, we're out here getting started today. We got the parts washer turned on. I have a heater in mine that gets it up. Actually, it'll boil it if I don't keep an eye on it. So I'm letting it get heated up. I've got the old sonic cleaner for the small stuff fired up and getting hot. And we're going to finish disassembling the suspension and get the parts that have to be reused in here so we can get them cleaned up. As I showed once before, this is it out on jack stands. Like I said, we're going to pull it apart, disassemble. I'm going to probably leave the spindles assembled. I don't know what Austin's planning on doing for brakes, so I don't want to tear into that quite yet. So I'll probably just pull the spindles off and set them aside for now. But everything else is probably going to get cleaned up and scrubbed. I want to paint the K member. We have new upper control arms, but I believe we don't have new lowers. So the lowers will be cleaned up and painted. And he has to get me bushings for these yet. And I need to find out what he's going to do about the shocks. I assume we're going to put new shocks in it while I got it apart. But that's yet to be determined. So, my plan is to get this cleaned up. I'm waiting on some high solids paint to paint this stuff with, so hopefully it'll last when I get it done. So, all right, let me get you set up on a stand, and we'll do a time lapse of me getting this thing blown apart. Okay, so one of the first things we went to go ahead and try to do was to do the lower ball joint to get this spindle up out of the way. And I don't know if you can see very well here, but the cotter pin is rusted off and chipped on or clipped on both sides. So what we're going to try to do is I've got my punch, and then I have a very small punch. We're going to try that. Hopefully that works. If it doesn't, then we're going to have to get the drill bit out. And it's not such a big deal, but a lot of times you end up snapping drill bits, and that gets old. So wish me luck. Let's get at it. All right, we're going to start with the bigger one, see if we can get it started. You're going to see that I pretty much use the sledgehammer all the time. It's just my favorite hammer. Yes, I realize it's entirely too much hammer. Catch the edge of it. Might have to go back to the other side. Oh, actually, wait a minute. I think maybe I got to start moving. We'll switch to a little small one. See if we can get it to push out. Really, all we need is it to come out enough so I can get a hold of it. Hopefully, pull it out. Move some. Let's see if we can get it. Nope, not yet. I got a feeling we're heading towards a drill bit on this one. She just is not. Yeah. If it was the upper control arm, it wouldn't be that big a deal. It's getting replaced anyways. But it's the lower, and I don't think I have a ball joint for it. I know I don't have a control arm for it. So we got to reuse this. So we don't want to mess it up. Especially since we are, it is Wednesday. Hopefully you're going to see this video tomorrow. And Goodguys, our goal, which, to be fair, when I said we were going to have it running by Goodguys, I didn't plan on doing any of this. So, but it makes sense. It's what needs to be done. So we are going to do it. But anyways, but Goodguys is next weekend. I know my friends in the industry are loading in on Thursday of the next week. I don't think the gate's open until Friday. But that'll be, it's going to be some long nights. I'm still going to try to make it. Just because I actually enjoy trying to hit a goal like that. And honestly, I need to get this thing done and move on to my own stuff. As some of you have seen, I've got F-150 that is almost done, that I would like to get on the road, given the nature of my 347 now. And I have a Scout that we won't talk about how long I have had that, and I have not been able to drive. So, all right, so it looks like we're going to have to drill this out. All right, let's see how much luck we have with the little. It's just turned just enough from towards the spindle, and I can't really get on it. So that's I knocked this off of it, the head of it off enough that I can get this punched through now. Nope. Okay, so after having to get the big box of drill bits out, and taking the caliper off so that I can get at it at a different angle. We finally got it drilled out and ready to use the impact and get it off of there. Okay, so back to where we were 30 minutes ago. It's that old saying, we're only one broken bolt away from it being an all-day job. Cotter pins are in the same boat. Starting to worry there for a second. with the wobble extension, extension and the short extension. I have a lot of false torque. Plus, it better come off of it for a minute. It did finally break loose. That's good. This car is in really good shape, but it is still a 73, and there's still a lot of things that are still rusty about it. So. All right, we're going to get the pickle fork out and separate the ball joint. I'm just going to do that off camera, because it's probably going to be a lot of me yelling and screaming. So, all right, some of you guys, some of you Mopar guys are probably yelling at me the whole time when I said I was going to leave the spindles intact, not just some of the brakes. I found out that they would not come off the lower ball joint with the rotor still on it. So, pulled the rotor off. It's fine. The bearing was a little on the dry side for my taste, anyways. So we'll clean the bearings up and repack them with fresh grease. They've been sitting for 4 years anyway, so definitely wouldn't hurt. But now we got the spindle off, and now the brakes are off, so we can clean the spindle up and paint it as well. So there's that. All right, next we're going to tackle getting the lower control arm apart and the shocks apart. All right, so got everything loose over here. I'm putting the nuts and bolts, since we're going to put this thing right back together after I clean it. I can clean it in a parts washer with the bolts on it, but that way we can put it together a little faster. The strut rod's got to come apart. We've got a roll pin we got to knock out of here. Hopefully, get this to come out without a whole lot of drama. We've already had enough of that. It does not want to move. Who's shocked about that? Okay, we got it to move a little bit. All right, now it's down flush. Let's see if we can drive it the rest of the way out. Woohoo! There we go. All right. Now, let's see what size that is. 1 inch? Nope. 15, 16. All right. Probably gonna happen. Yep. These might not be big enough. These are the first things I grabbed, so we'll try real quick. Yeah. Awesome. Great. All right. Austin's got to bring me some bushings for this. Hopefully he gets them. I am going to hold on to these bushings since we're trying to make a deadline, just in case we have to put it together with the old bushings. I really hope not, but I have that option. The last thing we did was take the sway bar mount. Sway bar, it's not an in-link, but it's a sway bar mount that drops down from the K-member. I'm going to have to message Austin to also get these bushings because they're completely blown out. I'm assuming he probably doesn't have them, although there is some bushings laying over there, so I guess I'll have to look through there. But anyways, I've got to take the lower control arm out yet, but I got to do the steering linkage on that side and take it all off with the box. I think Austin is going to bring me new steering linkage, so I'm just going to leave it attached to the box for him. But I'm going to take the other side apart, just like I took this side apart, and I'll bring you back once I get the other side, because it's just a repeat of this, and we'll see what we can do about getting this thing cleaned up and painted. All right, so as you can see, we got everything apart except for the lower control arm. That's all. I already got the passenger side off. I wasn't entirely sure how it was coming apart, so I figured that out off film. And I'm gonna take this one apart. Hopefully it comes off as good as the other one did. Oh, move my jack. My jack stand a little bit here. Just doing a whole lot of it, evidently. Oh wow, this one is completely roached. It's just the sleeve. And there's the remainder of it. All right, and there we go. Now the K member is fully disassembled, and we are ready to start cleaning, which that's going to be fun. Actually, it's not terribly bad. I can get to most of it now, so it won't take too long. I'm not going to probably show much of the cleaning, but I will say one of my favorite ways to do these old cars like this, probably not the way a lot of people do it, but actually use a map gas on this old crusty dried up stuff, and I'll hit it with map gas. It burns the oils out of it and it turns it real flaky, and then I can use a putty knife and it just scrapes right off. I'm going to call it a night. I've got a couple cross members and strut rods, anything that I can soak. I don't have the lower control arms in there because I don't know about the ball joints yet, and I don't want to ruin the ball joints. So, but this is preliminary cleaning. I used the torch, cleaned it up a little bit. I'm going to still clean it up some more, but I've got some more. I've got some high solids paint coming. Won't be here till tomorrow, anyways. So I might break out for this rusty area over here. I may break out the knotted wire wheel on the angle grinder. But I'm going to clean it up just a little bit more before it's done. I also got to flip it over and clean the bottom of it a little bit, but the majority of the worst was over here on this side where the power steering was. It's had a leak at some point, a few times probably, but it's pretty clean. Should look pretty good when we're done. Get it cleaned up, and you know, if it was a show car, we'd probably send it off and have it powder coated. But for a driver, this with some high solids paint should do just fine. I'm also going to wire brush and wipe down some of the frame rails. Katrina and Austin had done the engine bay in green. I'm going to tape line right there at that seam. I'm going to do the frame rails down in black and get them nice and coated. And that cross member back there has got some bare metal spots on it too. So I'll probably paint from that cross member there where the springs come through forward, and paint from like that seam that's going across there down, because that's bare metal there that never got painted. So now's the time. You can get it painted up while it's out. So call it a day, and we'll get back on it tomorrow.